Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
The game. I think sometimes we forget that this is a game and that we all signed up for it. It's easy to forget it. I can't ever remember any adult in my childhood reminding me, hey, Clark, this is just a game. Hey, Clark, don't forget who you are. And if they had, I would have said, who's that? Because back then, I didn't consciously know who I was. It's only been as I have grown older and experienced many different definitions that I have given myself as well as others have imparted on me that I've come to realize I am a spirit clothed in a body of earth, and this body of earth has its own mentality that I have grown to recognize as not mine, that still continuously offers me opportunity to grow. And that's putting it in a very positive fashion. So in and through all of this, what I am doing is I am imparting my current recognition of how best to play this game. I find it important. I find it at times challenging, and at times I find it to be very rewarding to be present, which means I have to be paying attention to what's going on inside of me as well as what's going on around me, so that I can come up with some operable sense of what it is to remain sane. So I'm talking about primary rules, how to do this. First and foremost, as you can, remember who you are. You're a spirit clothed in a body of earth, and you're here playing this game because you signed up for it. And that can be really challenging to keep in play when others are acting out their stuff on you and you're trying to respond without reacting, or reacting disguisedly as if it were a response, so that I can keep it together. So this is then saying, okay, all of us react to external things, including people. And they say part of that is to help you grow. Well, I want you to think about it. Many of us experience life using the reward and punishment system. It started way back when we were kids. I mentioned it last week, and my ass still burns. And that is because I would get spanked. And not only by my father, but by my mother. And that's because that's the way they learned. And I was the only one around that they could pass it on to. I didn't have any siblings to share Fanny Burns, so I got them all. And it's not to say that according to that perception, I didn't deserve it. But it is to say that we grew up learning conditioned love. Okay? And by that, we applied it on ourselves as well as others, where we saw, okay, the reward was for being a good boy doing the right thing and, oh, making me so proud and so happy. And the other, you really disappoint me. And so I learned to apply the same things to myself. Well, of course, what I'm going to apply to myself, I'm going to apply to others. So I'm sharing with you in a way because, well, I don't know if I'll ever get the opportunity to share it this way as clearly as I am right now. And I think it's valuable that we have these little things that perk us to sit up and pay attention and to see, am I living this the way I want to? Or am I living this the way I'm being programmed to do in order to please others and to make everybody happy, regardless of whether I make me happy or not? Okay, so then this brings into the picture perception. You see, all of this that I'm speaking right now is perception. How you see yourself, how you see others, how you see things in life. Well, it's been said that when you change how you look at things, the things you look at change. Sometimes I've experienced that, and other times I don't see anything happening at all. I can change my perception, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you change in response to my change in perception. Any of you experienced that also? Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay. So that then leaves you at a place of saying, okay, then what are you going to do? How am I going to play this game? What am I going to put into effect here? Because see, sometimes I mistakenly see it as if it is personal, what's happening. And it's like, you know, The Godfather, life, it isn't personal. It's just business. The business of perception. Because you're not necessarily going to find others change just because you do. But you can look at yourself and say, okay, I am in this game, and I'm here to learn and to grow and interact. So I'm not going to throw away what I feel I'm gaining, what I'm learning, just because I don't feel you appreciate it or you recognize it. I'm going to take it with me. I'm going to keep it, if in no other way, internally alive. Because you see, this too is the game. So I did get to the point of saying perception is everything, because it is. It really is how you look at it. I used to believe that I had to have this, I had to have that in order to be happy. And sometimes I got it. And maybe it made me happy, but it didn't last forever. Often I didn't get it the way I wanted, so therefore I wasn't happy. But that wasn't about what I got or didn't get. It was about my perception. That I'm always finding life provides me with the opportunity to have this bounce up against my current belief of what should be. So then comes into my picture, and I know it is yours too. Where's your focus? Where is your focus? Are you in harmony with yourself, and your focus is allowing that energy to flow? I don't know about you, but I used to believe that I was supposed to be happy. Anybody else here have that belief? That you believed you were supposed to be happy? No? You didn't believe?
Yes.
You didn't know. So you went about making yourself happy, right? Yeah, okay. And a lot of us have done the same thing. But then others, and I noticed that this in myself, I have looked to others to make me happy. Hey, you know, you're married 17 times, it gives you a realization you're trying. Okay, so that then brings, it brings you to my next point in this, and that is, don't be discouraged if it's taking time. That's part of this experience that really takes a while to get used to and maybe set it up to where you work in that direction, but everything in 3D takes time. It takes time from the inhale to the exhale, and they follow. They keep going on. So no great thing happens suddenly. Again, I say, I look at, and I feel I'm accepted enough by you to share it and say, I looked at life and I put effort into doing things that then made me feel good about me being me. The last thing I built, I did it because I saw it was needed, but I built it because I felt in doing it. As a matter of fact, I resisted any help unless it was absolutely necessary, because I wanted to get up in the morning, I wanted to look out there, and I wanted to say, I did it. And if a fire came and burned it down tomorrow, well, then that would be the way it was. Just like I personally carved the totems for the medicine wheel out at the ranch. And the fire said, that was so yummy. Took and burnt them all, and leaving only a part of one. But you see, here's the point that I'm trying to make. If you do things that make you feel good about you being you, regardless of whether they show or not, count that as valuable. Because you see, no matter how others see you, don't see you, treat you, don't treat you, they cannot take that away unless you give it away. So, let that be a part of your realization, please. It's important. And then one of the last things that it took me a while to learn, as a matter of fact, we've all been around together long enough to know that when I often gave lectures at the women's club, the subject of my father would come up. And I would confess right there from the platform, I had not forgiven him because of my perception of what happened and who he was and who I was. I've grown to forgive. And I've noticed how truly liberating that is for me. He's come to me since then, and there hasn't been a measure of it. And it's because I forgave and I set myself free. Didn't have a damn thing to do with him. It had everything to do with me. And I have since then tried to stir others to come to that realization. Hey, you're imprisoning yourself by holding the resentment, the whatever it is that you have toward another. Oh, I'm not ready for that. And I say to myself, okay, but you are imparting your suffering on yourself and others with your own resistance to what could be truly liberating for you. Amen. So, last attempt. Amen. Last attempt. So I get back to the part where it says, when we were kids and we were growing up and we were being influenced by the people around us who taught us how to be and how in all probability you now are giving yourself the opportunity to see that really wasn't what you needed. What you needed was more empathy and compassion when you weren't perfect. And I'm saying, okay, life's not over. The game goes on. Even when you leave, the game will still be running, that's for sure. So I'm suggesting to you, you consider these as opportunities for you in yourself to see how can I improve that's going to make me feel better, if not good, about who I am. Thank you.